Hey, welcome back to Piece of Chaos. So it's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's been a weird couple weeks, and I felt like I really didn't have anything new to say or new to add to this conversation that's going on. If you are watching the world, really frustrated, really upset, annoyed, tired. I don't know. It was hard to form a thought around what's happening. As many of you may or may not know, I have two kids in school, one in high school, one in grade school. And it's been really, really difficult to think about everything that's happening in the country with guns and mass shootings and mental health and political divide and just everything. And, you know, this podcast is a vehicle to form thoughts and think better. That's the reason I do it, is to try to think more clearly, to have conversations that help me think more clearly, to check my thoughts, to figure out what the hell is going on in the world. And quite frankly, I'm just at a loss. I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't understand. And in the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of conversations with friends about it, trying to make sense of it, trying to check my thinking. And man, I just cannot wrap my head around it. And no one seems to be able to, which is just crazy. Like, the rational thing to do. Well, here's the thing. I'm utterly disappointed. I'm utterly disappointed in this ideal that I thought existed in the America that I was told we were growing up in. And I realize that's a naive thought at this point, which is really sad. You know, when the pandemic started, even though I lived through the Trump presidency and I should have known better, I still held out hope for better results, I guess, than just letting things happen and seeming like we have no control over them, and that America would respond and rise to the occasion. And almost in every instance, it seems like for the last 5 or 6 years, maybe more, the hope and the promise of America has just been non-existent. So we look at COVID. Okay, when that first went down, we were first seeing the signs of it. My first naive thought was, well, you know, maybe these other countries, and here's the thing, like, remember Italy? Remember when Italy was just out on their balconies singing, and we're like, oh, isn't that cute, Europe, you know? I mean, at least that's how it was portrayed. That couldn't happen here. That's Europe. America won't let that happen. We'll contain this thing. It won't get that bad. This is just media hype, blah, blah, blah. I remember specifically talking about it with like a week or two before it really got bad, with a bunch of parents at a soccer game. Like, what do you think's going on? What do you think we need to be worried? It's like, I don't know, man. We've had these other scares before, like avian flu and Ebola came through there for a minute, and the media was warning us about these things. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just another one of these media hype things. They don't have anything better to talk about. But then obviously that was proven wrong. But even when it started to get bad, I had this delusional faith that America would rise to the challenge. America would, well, if we can't contain it, then let's, combat it as best we can. Let's rally together and create the ability to get everybody the masks that they need, or anything, any type of response that seemed coordinated, made sense, and helped. And we didn't do it. We failed miserably. And I say we, I don't know, you and I probably could have done nothing to help the situation. I mean, I learned how to sew. I figured out my sewing machine and made masks like they told us to. Cloth masks, which it turns out probably did absolutely nothing. I don't know, maybe they did. If it's, I don't know, we're still talking about COVID. It's so annoying that it's still there and we still don't know the answer. But, it seems like, based on how it spreads, that a real mask like an N95 is probably the best solution to slowing the spread. But I don't think at this point anybody's going to escape getting COVID. And if you think you have, you probably were just asymptomatic, it seems like. I mean, if you're basically around other people for any length of time and anybody is contagious, it's just going to happen. And that information would have been really helpful early on. Maybe we didn't need to. It doesn't matter. It's a revisionist history. COVID is one thing. So that was disappointing and a big disillusionment that America would come through that. And now we're seeing this gun violence problem that's been going on for a long time. And I just don't understand. Sorry for my dogs whining in the background. That's Laverne, by the way. We have this gun violence problem that we just don't seem capable of having a rational conversation about. We're the only country where kids are getting slaughtered by guns. People are just shooting each other at all over the place. Just this weekend in Philadelphia on South Street. Now, I don't think that was a deranged mass shooting event. I think that was a lot of people with guns shooting each other on the street. That's not great, obviously. But I don't think it was like a sociopath just aimlessly murdering people. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure there wasn't even assault weapons necessarily used in that. I don't know. I don't want to look at it anymore. So I don't want to read the details anymore. I just can't. It's just too much. And this happens in all cities across America. That this is just what happens. It's disappointing. I'm disappointed. And I don't know what to do about it. And I guess I'm thinking that the only thing we can do about it as a country, as a people, I mean, the whole concept of country now seems ridiculous too sometimes, like we are a global human race that can now connect to one another, that can now speak to one another almost instantaneously with instant translation. There should be no language barrier anymore that prevents us from having open dialogue and rational thought rule the day. And that is still my optimistic hope, is that we will someday, maybe it won't be in my lifetime, maybe it will take this next generation of people to lead and have the right conversations, but there's just no reason. for all of this. There's no rational argument for an 18-year-old to have a weapon like this that I can find. I haven't heard a good one. I haven't heard any good reason to have those weapons. I haven't heard one good reason. Maybe it's fun to shoot them at a range. I don't know. If you fired a weapon, I mean, I've shot guns before, not a weapon like that, but a 357 Magnum and a shotgun. I've shot them. It's fun to target shoot. It's fun to shoot clay birds. Not a hunter. I think if I was going to be a hunter, I would probably go with a bow and arrow. It seems more interesting and challenging to me, but even then, I don't think it's something that I would do for sport. But that's just me, and I'm not saying no one should. Especially if you're going to use what you kill. The animals that are killed by hunters, generally, as long as they, are using them to feed their families and to feed people, those animals are going to die in the wild anyway. So why not sustain life with them? That's been happening since humans have been alive. We've survived by killing animals and eating them. And, if we could grow enough plants to live, that's cool too. I really don't have an opinion on that. But what I don't understand is the necessity to have these crazy weapons in the hands of not just 18-year-olds, but anyone. Why? I don't get it. So I'd love to hear a good reason. I would love one. I would love to hear a good reason. It would be interesting to be like, oh, I understand now. And no one has one. The Second Amendment thing is kind of a misinterpretation. The right to bear arms and a well-regulated militia, yeah, that makes sense against the tyranny of a government when everybody has muskets. But, it just, none of the arguments hold up. None of the arguments hold up to justify the death of children or the possession of these weapons by people of questionable mental facilities. There was another shooting where the guy in the hospital in Tulsa last week, the guy went and bought the weapons and then went and used them immediately. Killed his doctor that operated on his back and didn't solve his pain problems. There's a Simpsons episode where Homer goes to buy a gun and the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, there's a waiting for you. He's like, but I'm angry now. That's not a good Homer. But I'm angry now. Yeah, I can't do it right now. I'm not in the right mind space to do a Homer. But anyway, he basically says, I don't want to wait. I'm angry now, right? Which is the whole point of the waiting period, is to delay your ability to get your hands on a weapon and use it in anger, right? That's a good idea. Why don't we all agree on that? Like, as far as I'm concerned, keep the assault weapons. Sell them. Go nuts. But there has to be a waiting period and some checking around. Like, it's not new. Look up any reasonable proposal for gun responsibility. That's the thing, is gun safety or gun regulation, whatever you want to call it. It's really about being responsible. Can it be the same type of bar that we have to get a driver's license, which is arguably not even that high of a bar? Tons of things are regulated more effectively than guns, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Also, this, hey, we're going to take away your guns thing is ridiculous and stupid. They're not going to take away your guns. How could they possibly do that? Maybe a buyback program makes a lot of sense. But if you spent the money on the guns, you must have had the money to buy the guns. Therefore, someone paying you for the guns is not that attractive. You're like, hey, I like my AR-15. I don't want to sell it back to you for $2,000. It's fun for me, and I am not going to shoot anybody. Okay, great. But in every case, and especially when it's elementary school kids, it's little kids. It's little babies, defenseless kids. And I don't understand it. So, I don't know. I felt like I needed to put something out for the podcast. It's been 2 weeks. I missed you guys. I missed doing it. But I don't know what to do. And I would love to have a conversation with anybody who would argue with responsible gun limits. Maybe 21 is a better age. Maybe 25 is a better age. As far as your brain forming and maturity and getting through. I mean, come on. Being a teenager, being a kid, getting bullied, it can be rough. But you grow up and you mature and you realize these things aren't that big of a deal or definitely not worth killing people over, even if you have a traumatic, bullied childhood. And I feel terrible for people that have that experience, but there's other solutions. And, the more this keeps happening, the more it becomes an outlet for people who are suicidal or depressed or mentally unstable, whether they're planning on it being a suicide and bringing a bunch of people down with them at the same time, or they have some crazy idea that they're going to become famous for doing it or something, whatever is going on with these people that do this. Just horrible. And I've been really sad about it and haven't felt like talking about it. So, talk about piece of chaos, man. It is chaos right now. Chaos. The government can't pull it together to get gun reform going in any way, shape, or form that makes sense. The president, I guess, doesn't feel like he is in a position to issue an executive order in this regard. We can't get the weapons ban reinstated. Seems like we're stuck. And just very frustrating and very sad. And I hope that this next generation of leaders, younger generation of leaders, will see through this bullshit, see through this government ineptitude at almost every level, see through the cults that seem to be taking over or not taking over. They're not taking over. I think that the media does focus on the ends of the spectrum, on both the right and the left, but they're there, and there's more than I'm comfortable with, and more than anyone should really be comfortable with, that are at these fringe, zealot, whether it's religious, gun, anything that's so black and white, and right or wrong, and right and left, and black and white just is incorrect. Everything is nuanced. Every single thing is nuanced. And we need to have smarter conversations, and we need to have more of them, and they need to be more public, and they need to be more well understood and more well communicated. Otherwise, this experiment that we're working on here as an American United States is really in trouble. I saw a comedian say the other day, and I hope it's not true, but I can't remember who it was either. It's just they fly by so quickly on TikTok. But it was a good joke, good observation. Like, hey, man, we reboot everything. Why wouldn't we reboot Civil War in terms of like? But it can't come to that. We've come too far. The progress has been so amazing, and we seem to be stuck in a place where we can't move out of it right now. And I hope that doesn't continue. I don't know. But I hope you guys are having a good week. Summer's coming. Kids are going to be out of school. let's try to enjoy it. Let's try to love each other and enjoy each other and enjoy, I don't know. Let's try to enjoy life and not focus on the negative if we can. For people who have been touched by all this violence, my heart just breaks. But somehow, one way or another, we will get through it together. So thank you for listening to Piece of Chaos. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I have some good invites out for guests, so hoping to bring you some fun conversations in the coming weeks. And yeah, enjoy. Stay safe and be well. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you soon.
I said to myself, this fair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake